Welcome to our channel, Rare Coins Numix. These aren't your average nickels, they're the ones collectors dream about and treasure hunters chase. Watch till the end, because one of these could be hiding in your collection right now. Top 1, you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars, and not even know it. It's small, it's silver colored, and chances are, you've seen hundreds of them in your life without a second thought. But the 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark? That's a different story. This isn't just another coin. It's a hidden gem, one of the most surprising and valuable pieces of pocket change in American history. Stick with me. Because the journey of this nickel is anything but ordinary. Let's rewind to 1964. The United States is in motion. The Beatles are taking over the airwaves. Civil rights are reshaping the nation. Vietnam is deepening. Amid this cultural storm, the U.S. Mint is quietly producing over 1.7 billion nickels, trying to keep up with a growing demand for change. These were the Jefferson Nickels. Introduced in 1938, they featured a left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the back. A clean, simple design. And in 1964, most were struck in Philadelphia and Denver. If your coin has a tiny D on the reverse, it's from Denver. But if there's no mint mark, that's Philadelphia. And that's the one to watch. Here's the twist: while most 1964 nickels are worth just 5 cents, a few, very few, are worth tens of thousands. Why? It all comes down to precision, detail, rarity, and something collectors call full steps. See, on the reverse side of the coin, Monticello has a staircase. On most coins, those steps are faint or worn. The dies used to strike the coins were overworked. The steps turned into a blur. But in some rare cases, the steps came out crisp, complete, and untouched. These coins earned the full steps designation, a kind of gold medal in the coin world. Now picture this. A 1964 nickel with no mint mark. Pristine condition. Perfect full steps. It's not just rare, it's nearly unheard of. Grading companies use a 70-point scale to measure quality. Most circulated coins hover around 30 to 50. An MS-65 is sharp. An MS-67? That's elite. For a 1964 nickel with full steps to reach MS-67, now we're talking lightning striking twice. And yes, it has happened. There are stories, some from dealers, others from everyday people, of these coins sitting in jars, passed down through families, completely ignored. One collector reportedly found theirs in a roll bought off eBay. Another got lucky while searching through an old coin folder in their childhood bedroom. What they found changed their lives. But let's pause here. Why did this happen in the first place? What made these coins so special? In 1964, the mint was under pressure. Coin shortages were causing public frustration. Mints ran 24/7 to meet demand, but quality suffered. Dies wore out quickly. Precision dropped. The few coins that came out perfect were accidental survivors, rare, clean strikes that somehow made it through untouched. Now imagine that one of those ended up in your coin jar. You wouldn't notice it at a glance. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other nickel. But a closer look changes everything. 0.5 full steps. No nicks. No fading. MS-67 or higher. A grade like that sends collectors into a frenzy. And remember, this isn't just about the money. Coins like this are time capsules. They carry history. They speak to moments, machines, and people long gone. They survive inflation, new designs, metal changes, entire generations. They endure. And they become legends. That's what happened with the 1964 no mint mark nickel. Coin shows started featuring it. Collectors talked about it online, at conventions, even on TV. It became one of the crown jewels of the Jefferson Nickel series. Suddenly, the everyday became extraordinary, and people started looking again. They pulled out old jars. Dug through sock drawers. Asked grandparents about coin collections. And every so often, once in a long while, someone would hit the jackpot, but most will miss it. They'll overlook it. Toss it back into the change cup.so. What should you look for? First, the date, 1964. Next, flip it. Look under Monticello. If there's no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. Now the key part, check the steps. You might need a magnifier. Count 5 full steps, or even 6. They should be clean, with no cuts, marks, or wear. That's your sign. That's your possible treasure, and then you get it graded, because here's where it all comes together. A circulated 1964 nickel might get you lunch. A shiny one in a plastic sleeve might fetch a few bucks at a coin show, but a 1964 no mint mark nickel, full steps, graded MS67, that coin, has sold $4.79,000. $79,000. Top 2. Think you've seen every rare coin out there? Think again. This next one will make you reconsider the value of the nickels in your pocket. The 1985 Jefferson nickel looks ordinary at first glance. Yet, hidden within this humble coin lies a story of rarity and incredible worth, reserved for only the most pristine examples. This isn't just any 5-cent piece. It's a coin so rare, so exceptional, that collectors have been stunned by its value. Once a simple coin, now commanding prices usually reserved for luxury collectibles. On the front, Thomas Jefferson stares calmly into the distance. The back features Monticello, his iconic home. These designs were standard for decades, but the difference lies in the minute details, especially for this particular year. The D mint mark shows it was struck in Denver, one of the busiest mints. In 1985, hundreds of millions of these nickels were produced, yet very few survived in the flawless condition collector's prize. The secret lies in something called full steps. On the reverse, Monticello's base shows a staircase leading to the door. Most nickels have these steps worn or faint. A full steps coin reveals every single one sharply defined, clear as day. Such coins are exceptionally rare, especially when combined with perfect, uncirculated condition. That combination turns a simple nickel into a prized treasure. Why did this happen? In 1985, the mint was producing coins rapidly to meet demand. Dies wore out faster, quality slipped, and coins with sharp full steps became extremely uncommon. Collectors noticed this anomaly. While most coins show blurred steps, a few pristine examples stood out. They became sought after, highly valued by those who appreciate these subtle differences. Grading companies began awarding these nickels high grades, confirming their rarity. Then came a breakthrough. A single coin surfaced, graded MS67 with full steps, practically flawless. That coin shattered expectations, setting new price records and transforming the 1985 D Jefferson nickel into one of the most valuable nickels ever. Most 1985 D nickels remain common and low in value. But those few with full detail and mint state condition, they're in a league of their own. Imagine finding one in a jar of coins, spotting the steps, feeling the weight of history in your hand. Sending it for professional grading could be the key to unlocking an extraordinary value. Here's the twist: even with such a large mintage, the combination of perfect strike, sharp steps, and mint state quality is so rare that collectors fight fiercely for these coins when they surface. Let's dive deeper into why full steps are so important. The steps represent a precise strike from the die. If the coin was struck too lightly or the die had worn down, those steps appear flat or completely missing. Full steps indicate a fresh, crisp strike, a snapshot in time where everything aligned perfectly. This rarity is compounded by the coin's condition. Any sign of wear, even the tiniest scratch or mark, diminishes the value drastically. That's why MS67 grades and above are so treasured. They showcase the coin exactly as it left the mint, preserved flawlessly for decades. The 1985 D nickel is also fascinating because it challenges what most collectors assume about rarity. With hundreds of millions produced, you wouldn't expect any example to be valuable. But this proves that condition and detail are just as important as mintage numbers. This coin's worth between $62,000 and $70,000. Yes, you heard correctly. What started as a modest 5-cent coin has grown into a rare collector's dream. Now, here's another layer to this story: these coins rarely appear on the market. Even if you have one in your collection, selling it could be a challenge because collectors hold on tightly. The scarcity drives prices higher and higher each time one becomes available. It also speaks to the importance of patience in collecting. Sometimes the coins that seem ordinary hold incredible potential. You just need to know what to look for and have the patience to wait for the right moment. For those interested in spotting these coins, start by examining nickels minted in Denver in 1985. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe under bright light to count the steps at Monticello's base. If all 6 steps are clearly visible and the coin's surfaces are clean and shiny, you might be looking at something extraordinary. Remember, though, a professional grading service is essential. Grading authenticates the coin's condition and can dramatically increase its market value. Don't underestimate the power of subtle details in coin collecting. Sometimes, what's unseen or unnoticed can make all the difference. Before we move on, stick around, because the next coin on our list might be hiding in plain sight, and it's even more astonishing. Top 3, you think you know nickels? Think again. Right now, we're focusing on a coin that looks like any other 1989 nickel, but in reality, it hides a secret worth tens of thousands of dollars. This is the story of the 1989 5-cent P nickel, a piece that has become a collector's holy grail. Stick with me, because what comes next could change how you view the coins in your pocket forever. At first glance, the 1989 P Jefferson nickel is typical. The familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson faces left, etched with the quiet dignity that has graced the 5-cent piece for decades. The reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, carved into the coin's surface in crisp detail. It's a design millions recognize. But the 1989 P nickel is not your average coin, unlike some rare coins from the 20th century whose scarcity comes from low mintage numbers or production errors. The 1989 P nickel's value springs from a subtle nuance, an exceptional preservation combined with a near-perfect strike that has proven almost impossible to find. This rarity makes it a unique specimen within the Jefferson Nickels series. You may be wondering, what exactly sets this nickel apart from the millions struck that year? The secret lies in the quality and the survival rate of coins minted in Philadelphia during 1989. Although over 225 million nickels were produced at the Philadelphia Mint in that year, the overwhelming majority suffered from circulation wear, striking irregularities, and other imperfections. Coins in mint condition from that era are scarce. But the 1989 P nickel stands apart because it represents a perfect example of what the mint was capable of producing. A coin with flawless surfaces, razor-sharp details, and an unmistakable brilliance that is stunning to behold. Collectors prize these coins because they are a near-impossible find in such pristine condition. Now, you might ask, why is this such a big deal? Isn't a nickel just a nickel? Normally, yes. But in the world of numismatics, condition is everything. The difference between a worn, circulated coin and a pristine, mint-state example can mean thousands of dollars in value. And for the 1989 P nickel, that difference is staggering, because the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins for mass circulation in 1989, most coins saw daily use soon after they left the mint. That wear erased fine details and dulled the surface. Only a tiny fraction escaped into collections or were preserved in controlled environments where they remained untouched. The result is a scarce group of coins graded as MS-65 or higher, considered mint state, that collectors fight over aggressively. What's more, some specimens graded MS-67 or above have surfaced, rare jewels that practically shine under scrutiny. Let's explore the design a bit more. The obverse, featuring Jefferson, was designed by Felix Schlag in 1938 and has remained largely unchanged. Jefferson's profile conveys a sense of dignity and history, but it is the intricate details in the hair, the jawline, and the eye that tell us how well struck and preserved a coin is. On the reverse, Monticello stands as a symbol of American heritage. The structure's columns, windows, and staircase require precision to be well defined. In a perfect strike, the steps of Monticello are sharply outlined, the door and windows crisp, and the entire design popping with life. Collectors use magnification to inspect these details. The sharper and more defined they are, the more likely the coin commands a higher price. It's this attention to detail that reveals the coin's true value. Let me pause here to say, it's not just condition that makes this coin valuable, but also rarity. Unlike some coins whose scarcity comes from low production, the 1989 P nickel was mass-produced. The rarity comes from how many examples managed to survive in flawless condition. The phrase, survival rate, is key here. Survival rate refers to the percentage of coins that still exist in a particular condition out of the total minted. For the 1989 P nickel, the survival rate in high mint state grades is incredibly low. Collectors have noted that coins graded MS67 or higher, which means almost perfect surfaces and exceptional eye appeal, are nearly non-existent in the secondary market. When one does appear, it causes a sensation and often commands a premium price. So, how does a coin reach such a high grade? It requires careful handling immediately after minting and consistent protection against damage and wear for decades. Even a tiny scratch, fingerprint, or spot can knock a coin down a grade or two, massively impacting value. This brings us to grading, an essential part of the coin collecting process. Professional grading services examine coins closely and assign a grade based on condition, strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. The higher the grade, the rarer and more valuable the coin. For the 1989 P nickel, coins graded MS65 are already prized. MS66 and above become truly exceptional finds. Those at MS67 or higher are downright legendary in collecting circles. Now, before the big reveal, consider the market dynamics. Because these coins are so rare and sought after, demand often outstrips supply. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a chance to own one of these perfect nickels. At auction, when a high-grade 1989 P nickel comes up, bidding can escalate quickly. Prices have soared beyond expectations, fueled by the coin's rarity and condition. So what is the actual price? Brace yourself, the value of a pristine 1989 P Jefferson nickel can reach as high as $60,000. Yes, a single nickel from 1989 can be worth more than most people's entire coin collections. Top 4. You might think a 5-cent coin minted in the year 2000 is nothing special, just a piece of change you toss in your pocket or piggy bank. But the story behind the 2000 D nickel challenges everything you thought about modern coins and their value. What if I told you that this particular nickel is more than just pocket change? It's a rare collectible, a sought-after piece among seasoned collectors, and yes, it holds a worth that reaches well into the thousands of dollars. The 2005-cent Denver Mint coin is a fascinating case study of how even seemingly recent coins can become prized possessions. It's a story of rarity found where most wouldn't expect it, in mass-produced modern coinage. The fact that this nickel is considered so valuable flies in the face of what many believe about modern coins being plentiful and lacking worth. In coin collecting, perfection isn't just a preference, it's a necessity. The 2000 D nickel's value hinges on how sharp and flawless the strike is, how crisp the design details appear, and the coin's overall condition. Even the smallest imperfection or trace of wear can diminish its worth dramatically. What's fascinating about this coin is that the Denver Mint in 2000 was facing challenges maintaining consistent quality. Dies wore down quicker, and quality assurance had occasional lapses. As a result, nickels with perfectly struck details and brilliant surfaces are surprisingly scarce. This scarcity, combined with the coin's recent date, has created a new kind of rarity, modern rarity. Collecting modern rarities is an area growing rapidly in popularity because it allows collectors to engage with pieces that are still attainable yet hold impressive potential for appreciation. The 2000 D nickel represents a sweet spot, young enough to be within reach but rare enough in high grades to be extremely valuable. Looking closely at the coin's design, the obverse features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, a symbol of American history and ideals. However, with the 2000 D, the key lies in the sharpness of the details, the strands of Jefferson's hair, the contours of his face, and the texture around his collar. On the reverse, Monticello appears, but only on coins with a strong strike will you see every step of the staircase clearly defined, every window pane distinct, and every line of the architectural structure crisp and vibrant. It's this precision in detail that signals to collectors the coin's rarity. Because many coins left the Denver Mint that year with softer strikes or minor flaws, those with extraordinary clarity and condition are instantly recognizable as special. The coin's condition is assessed by professionals who grade coins on a scale that evaluates wear, luster, strike quality, and eye appeal. For the 2000 D nickel, grades in the higher mint state categories are incredibly hard to come by. Collectors prize coins graded MS66 and above because they represent virtually flawless examples that have survived nearly unscathed for over 2 decades. What does this mean for investors and collectors? It means that owning a 2005-cent Denver nickel in top condition is like holding a rare piece of history, and one that commands serious attention in the marketplace. Think about it, a coin minted in 2000 that's more than just pocket change. It's a prize that has quietly appreciated in value because of its rarity and quality, defying the assumption that only older coins can be valuable. This coin's journey from everyday circulation to coveted collectible underscores a fundamental truth about numismatics, that rarity and condition matter more than age alone. A recent coin can be worth far more than a century-old coin if it possesses exceptional qualities. This leads us to another important aspect, the story behind why so few 2000D nickels remain in pristine condition. Many were spent, lost, or damaged in everyday transactions. Those that escaped circulation usually did so because a lucky collector or dealer spotted something special and set them aside. That if you happen to find one of these coins in your change or collection, it's worth taking a closer look. Inspect the coin under strong light, checking for any signs of wear or imperfection. If the details appear razor-sharp, the surface is glossy and clean, you might have stumbled upon something extraordinary. To truly unlock the value of a coin like this, professional grading is essential. Grading not only certifies the coin's condition but also enhances its marketability, often resulting in significant increases in value. The 2000D nickel also represents an investment opportunity. While the numismatic market can fluctuate, coins with proven rarity and desirability tend to hold or increase in value over time. This particular coin has attracted collectors and investors looking for tangible assets that combine history, art, and value. Beyond its investment potential, the coin embodies a connection to American history and craftsmanship. Holding such a coin allows one to appreciate the artistry of minting and the legacy of a nation's currency system. For those starting or expanding a collection, the 2005-cent Denver coin offers an accessible yet rewarding challenge. It encourages learning about grading standards, minting processes, and market trends, all essential skills for successful collecting. In closing, this coin stands as a reminder that value often hides where you least expect it. The 2000D nickel is proof that even modern coins can be rare and worth thousands of dollars in the hands of knowledgeable collectors. Top 5. You've made it to the final feature in this episode, and we've saved something truly special for the end. A coin that's quietly rewriting the rules of modern numismatics. It may look modest, but the 2018 5-cent P nickel is far from ordinary. This one has stunned collectors with its rising demand, surprising rarity, and value that stretches well into the thousands. Now, you might be asking, how does such a recent coin, minted just a few years ago, climb into the ranks of the most talked about nickels? It's a fair question. After all, when we think of valuable coins, we usually picture aged pieces from the 1800s or early 1900s, something worn, historical, touched by time. But the 2018 P nickel? It's rewriting the narrative. Sometimes, it's not the age of a coin that defines its value, it's the condition, the strike, the scarcity in top-grade form. Let's talk origin. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and busiest mints in the United States. In 2018, millions of Jefferson Nickels rolled out of the presses. But here's the twist, only a fraction of them were struck with exceptional quality. Fewer still were preserved in pristine, untouched condition, and that's the golden zone, not just rarity in production, but rarity in survival. While most of these coins were destined for vending machines, coffee shop counters, and parking meters, a select few dodged circulation altogether. Some were plucked straight from fresh rolls by sharp-eyed collectors. Others remained sealed in bags or boxes, completely untouched. These are the coins that now shine in the spotlight, because they managed to preserve their full detail, their mint luster, and their original sharpness. You see, the Jefferson nickel design isn't the easiest to strike perfectly. The fine details of Jefferson's hair, the precise spacing of the letters, the steps of Monticello, all of these elements require a clean die and just the right pressure. Even a slight flaw in the process can lead to weak strikes or mushy details. That's why finding a flawless 2018 P nickel is far rarer than the total mintage would suggest. now imagine one that checks all the boxes: mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp relief, and zero blemishes. A specimen like that is a standout, a coin that collectors instantly recognize as something more than ordinary, and that brings us to the role of professional grading. It's not just a formality, it's the standard in today's collecting landscape. Third-party graders assess everything: the strength of the strike, the cleanliness of the surfaces, the absence of contact marks. A high-grade certification can multiply a coin's value exponentially. For the 2018 P nickel, top-tier grades are rare, and that rarity is exactly what fuels the value. When coins with this level of preservation show up at auctions or in private sales, the competition can be intense. That it's also worth noting that the market for modern rarities has exploded in recent years. Collectors are now placing significant importance on coins from the 2000s and 2010s, provided they meet the criteria: limited high-grade population, sharp strike, exceptional eye appeal. And this coin fits that profile beautifully. What's especially compelling about the 2018 P nickel is its accessibility, at least, at first glance. It's a coin young enough to be overlooked by many. You might find one in a desk drawer or an old change jar and not even realize what you're holding. That's what makes this discovery so thrilling. It's the possibility that something so valuable might still be hiding in plain sight, and yet, with each passing year, these pristine specimens become harder to find. Circulation wears down those details. Exposure to the elements dulls the luster. Even handling it carelessly, a simple thumbprint, can strip away a coin's chance at a top grade. So, if you're going to search for one, you need to be careful, precise, and thorough. Use gloves, strong lighting, and a magnifier. Look for coins with clean fields, sharp edges, and strong devices. You never know, the next rare nickel might already be in your hands. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson Nickels often build complete date and mint mark sets. For them, a 2018 P in high mint state isn't just another coin, it's the crown jewel of a modern series. And if you're an investor, this coin checks all the right boxes: rarity, demand, grading potential, and a steadily growing market. The 2018 P nickel also represents a turning point. It's part of a broader shift in collecting focus, one where even coins just a few years old can rival century-old pieces in value and prestige, provided they meet the right conditions. This is a modern treasure in every sense. A reminder that rarity isn't always about what's old. Sometimes, it's about what's flawless. So while other nickels from the same year live out quiet lives in circulation, a select few, the best of the best, have been elevated to something much greater. Artifacts of precision. Evidence of an evolving hobby. Proof that the next great discovery might not come from a dusty attic, but from a fresh roll. And here's the part that gets collectors buzzing: when one of these coins is certified in pristine condition, it doesn't just catch attention, it commands it. And the prices reflect that. That's right, these unassuming 5-cent pieces have reached levels that would make even veteran collectors pause. We're talking thousands of dollars for the best of the best. Not bad for a coin you could have found in your spare change just a few years ago. It's one of those stories that feels almost too good to be true, but it's not. It's real. And it's happening now. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. We love hearing from fellow collectors. Be sure to keep watching for daily updates where we uncover more hidden gems and valuable coins. Your next treasure might be just around the corner. Thanks for being part of this journey. See you next time, and as always, happy collecting and happy hunting.